Welcome to the 2025 Superhero Awards. I'm your host Neil. I'm your host Neil Nerds, and I'm so very ill right now, but we have some awards to give out. This year has seemed to be filled with hope when it comes to superhero projects. We had the likes of a Spider-Man show filling us with hope, Daredevil and his team of people trying to stop Kingpin, the Thunderbolts, and of course Superman being the literal symbol of hope. And all of this within just the first half of the year. In the second half of the year we hardly had any superhero content. It was mainly just Gen V and Peacemaker.
I have bird blindness.
But we did end the year with leak after leak from Marvel with the trailers for Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Like every year, this year is also difficult when it comes to picking winners and losers for each category because every project is good, if not great. But nevertheless, after immense thought, I have winners and losers for each category. Though in my eyes, they're all winners. Also, before getting into the award, I know that it is February. I was ill, and then I got busy, and then I got lazy. So it's all my fault that it's coming late. But here it is nevertheless. And that also explains why I'm wearing this instead of my suit. And as always, when considering the awards for posters and trailers, I will only focus on the trailers and posters for movies that were released this year, even if their poster had come out last year, since it makes more sense judging the complete package rather than the small snippets we get to see a year before the film's release, like with Doomsday. This year there was no posters that I would just look at and think, damn, that sucks. But after much deep thought, the worst poster has to be this one for Captain America Brave New World. It just seems off, like their faces have been edited or some sort of AI has been used, unless of course it's hand drawn, in which case this can be forgiven. But anyways, there are still just too many people in this poster and it overcrowds the poster. Like, why do both the Red Hulk and Thunderbolt Ross have to be in the same poster? I get that Harrison Ford is the selling point of the movie, but there's no need for him to be on there twice. And the best one on the other hand is also from Captain America Brave New World, and it's this one. Simple and artistic, and explains everything about the movie, even if the Red Hulk fight was the last 20 minutes or so. But as stated in last year's award, this poster for Captain America 4 will be next year's one, but in case you were wondering, this definitely would have won this year. This one takes it by a mile. Next up we have the trailers, and these are usually a second look at projects that release throughout the year. So a good trailer can really make or break the hype and interest for a movie. Usually for it to be a good trailer, it would need to show what the general idea of the movie is, whilst also not spoiling too much. And Marvel is known for spoiling big surprises in their upcoming movies in trailers many times before, but at the same time a trailer still needs to show some stuff to make people excited for what's coming in the movie.
Chicken jockey!
So by using these conditions, we have two contenders for the worst trailer. Either Captain America Brave New World or the Ironheart trailer. Captain America 4's entire marketing campaign was to use Harrison Ford's Red Hulk to promote the movie, even if he isn't the main villain. As a result, they showed the full Red Hulk reveal in the trailer. Now don't get me wrong, the reveal was very awesome, but the full reveal should have been saved for the cinema instead of the trailer, and could have just shown light teasers like they did with the teaser. But the Ironheart one on the other hand felt like a last minute release they dropped on the week before when Marvel suddenly remembered, oh wait, we have a show coming out. Then they rough cut a trailer and released it, but the thing is, it isn't a bad trailer, it still sort of delivers. The trailer did make the show look good and I was tempted to watch it as a result, so despite the trailer coming out on last minute, it doesn't win the award. So with a heavy heart, I must say the worst trailer of 2025 goes to Captain America Brave New World, the official one. As for the best trailer, it has to be the Thunderbolts trailer, any of them really, because I've had no hype for this movie since this movie was announced all the way back in 2019 or whatever. But seeing the first trailer and seeing The Void was just insane. It instantly shot up to my most anticipated movie of the year, and it's remained there ever since, even though the movie's come out. The best trailer of 2025 goes to Thunderbolts. Now let's talk about the shows. We've had so many this year, both animated and live action. And we got shows from both Marvel, DC, Invincible and even Gen V. However, most of these shows came out in the first half of the year, so in the second half of the year there was basically nothing, which is crazy to think about, but nevertheless, as per always, let's begin with the worst. This year there's one obvious answer, and that's Ironheart. This show was just not interesting in the slightest form, from start to finish. But the finale does kind of redeem itself, but even the finale's impact isn't that great, and it's not very memorable, nor are the characters. This show came out in June, and all I can remember is that there's Ironheart, Mephisto and an AI. Plot wise there isn't much of an impact, and as a result the worst show goes to Ironheart. As for the best show, both contenders are animated. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Invincible Season 3 are our two contenders, and Spider-Man shows can never be bad. It's literally impossible to make it bad, and this show proves it. Yes, this show does take an alternative route in the traditional Spider-Man story by having the likes of Tombstone be Peter's frenemy instead of Harry Osborn, and Nico Minoru being his best mate, but it was a refreshing take compared to the usual Spider-Man storyline with MJ and Harry. However, Invincible Season 3 was just peak cinema. Those last 3 episodes were some absolute beautiful work of art, though granted the first few episodes did have terrible animation. Let's also not forget about the memes it spawns.
Are you sure?
And as a result, the best show of 2025 has to go to Invincible Season 3. Now before I get to the main award, I like to give out a special award to a new superhero introduced every year. Now this doesn't necessarily have a worst category since there's only a handful that are introduced every year. It's just sort of a recognition to the newest kid on the block who's really cool.
Very cool.
This year we hardly had any, since most of the projects that did come out this year were sequels and reboots. However, one man was introduced to us on the big screen this year and he stole our hearts right away. That's right, Mr. Terrific. He is the best superhero of the year. Like, he was just either aura farming or being an absolute legend on screen, and he definitely deserves this award. Now it's time for the main award you've all been waiting for, the best and worst movie of the year. This year is a difficult one because no movie was bad. They were either good or just average. This might just be because Sony didn't release any movies this year, but one movie kind of sticks out like a sore thumb when you consider all the superhero movies released this year, and that movie is Captain America Brave New World. I never thought that a Captain America movie would be the worst film of the year, but this film just is a mess and was a victim to the infinite reshoots that always happen. This film was more of a sequel to the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie, which people kind of forgot about, more so than being a sequel to the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, which is why it is the worst superhero movie of the year. But once again, this isn't a bad superhero movie by any means, but just comparing it with the other stuff that came out this year, those were just much better. If this award was for movies in general, then F1 would have won it without a doubt, but instead the best superhero movie award is split between two. However, we do have a definitive winner. The first is a movie I never thought would even be mildly good, and that is Thunderbolts. This movie literally stars all of my least favorite characters from not so great Marvel movies and threw them into an ensemble superhero team, but this movie made me like these characters and root for them, which is an insane feat. Also, I want to see more of them. I want another Thunderbolts movie before Doomsday, but this is just me rambling and I'm happy with what we got. Plus the CGI and the score and the writing for this movie was just all elite. And on the other hand, we have Superman, which as a Marvel fanboy I was praying wouldn't make the list, but this movie perfectly embodies what Superman is meant to be about and how he's a symbol of hope. Like, that scene with the kid and the flag has to be the best scene in any superhero movie of the year, which is why, and though it pains me to say this, Superman is the best superhero movie of the year. But DC, don't get too happy because we have my goat Spidey coming next year to take this throne away from me. And so with that warning, we bring the 2025 superhero awards to a close. Now, as always, do subscribe and comment below your thoughts, and Happy New Year, and here's to 2026 where I'm not being lazy again.